The Toddroll is one of the most terrifying weapons in professional arm wrestling history. Invented and perfected by the legendary Toddzilla Hutchings, this move breaks all the traditional rules of the sport. It's a technique that relies entirely on a flawless pronation lock and ungodly side pressure. Todd doesn't care if his wrist gets completely compromised or flatlined. He will just drive his entire frame straight sideways toward the pin pad like a human hydraulic press. With decades of absurd side pressure training, Toddzilla made the Toddroll look completely unstoppable. But in his last two major title defenses, the unthinkable happened. Toddzilla didn't just lose. He was completely shut down, unable to even initiate his signature move. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are breaking down exactly how the legendary Toddroll finally got defused, and how Bogdan Stoica just exposed the ultimate blueprint to beating Toddzilla. To understand why the Toddroll suddenly stopped working, we first have to understand why it was so devastating in the first place. Let's look at Todd's matches against Irakli Zirakashvili now. Irakli is an absolute gym mutant. His entire style relies heavily on elite back pressure and massive static bicep curls. On paper, that vertical pulling power sounds unstoppable, but against Toddzilla, Irakli's game completely fell apart. Todd defeated Irakli multiple times, and he did it using the pure mechanics of the Toddroll. You see, the Toddroll is the ultimate counter to raw back pressure. Irakli's posting top roll style is to pull an opponent's hand towards him by using his elite back pressure. But because a traditional posting doesn't focus on deeply cupping or containing the opponent's hand, it leaves a massive vulnerability on his wrist. Todd capitalized on this perfectly. He allowed his wrist to crack back, ignoring Irakli's back pressure, and focused everything on locking his pronation and driving straight sideways. Because Irakli lacked the horizontal side pressure and hand containment to stop that lateral movement, his arm was forced wide open, blowing right past his bicep line every single time. So, how do you stop a move that doesn't care about losing its wrist? At East vs. West 22, the young phenom, Oleg Petrenko, showed the world the first real defensive answer. Oleg didn't make the same mistake Irakli did. He maintained a high knuckle setup, but instead of just pulling backward, Oleg focused entirely on hand containment. He executed a heavy top roll with his cup completely intact. Oleg effectively choked out Todd's pronation. Toddzilla couldn't get his hand turned over, and for the first time in a long time, he couldn't feel his pronation lock. Realizing his Toddroll was completely trapped from the outside, Todd tried to force the match inside into a desperate hook. But without his primary lane, he was playing Oleg's game, and Oleg's horsepower was just too much, leading to a clean sweep. After that match, the community realized that if you can completely deny Todd his pronation, you take away his engine. But what Bogdan Stoica did next, at East vs. West 24, was a completely different level of exposure. In the first round, Bogdan tried to top roll Todd, but even getting the hand, Todd's pronation is still locked and can hold the attack. Bogdan switched gear, and, instead of pulling outside, Bogdan committed his entire shoulder right behind his hand on the go. He used an explosive deep cup to curl Todd's pronation inside before Todd could even engage his side pressure. By clamping Todd's pronation and driving his shoulder over the top, Bogdan completely severed the connection to Todd's pronator lock. In the later rounds, Bogdan just keeps repeating this press. His cupping power was so dominant that he treated Todd's world-class pronation like it wasn't even there. Once Bogdan occupied that space directly above Todd's arm, Todd's legendary side pressure became entirely useless. He was left with no leverage and no stopping power. The blueprint is officially out. To defeat the Toddroll, you cannot rely on vertical back pressure. You either have to completely choke his pronation from the outside like Petrenko, or explosively clamp his pronator from the inside with a heavy shoulder press like Bogdan Stoica. Toddzilla is far from finished, but the arm wrestling world has officially evolved. What do you guys think? Is the Toddroll officially exposed? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see how these adjustments played out round by round, check out my full Bogdan vs. Todd match breakdown right here. Hit that subscribe button to level up your table IQ, and I'll see you in the next one.